I'm Georgia and this is The Sound of Georgia. And today I just thought I'd list some of my favourite details in the Sound of Music film. These aren't in any particular order, and none of these are really what you would call symbolic. They're just little details that don't really have much bearing on the plot or the overall story. Just little things in the background that you look at and go, ooh, that's really cool. First one I'm talking about are the curtains in Maria's room when Elsa comes up to help her. On stage, we never see Maria's bedroom again after the thunderstorm scene. Obviously, just like in the film, we find out the curtains are going for, I don't know why, plot. But because we never get to see her room, we miss out on seeing things like this. This is something that you don't really notice unless you kind of force yourself to look for it. But speaking of curtain clothes, that brings us to my second one on the list, material. If you look at the material Maria gets from Schmidt right before the thunderstorm, you'll notice that she actually does use those specific fabrics for her dresses we see in Do Re Mi and later on. Not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to tell which fabric turns into which dress, but I think we can all very clearly see the orange stripes. It's interesting because that's the dress we see her wear for the shortest amount of time. Maybe they figured it clashed with her hair too much. Number 3 and 4 on my list kind of go together, and that's much later on after the wedding when Max and all the children are at the concert hall. If you look in the background, you can see the second place winners at the festival competition rehearsing. I'm not going to try and pronounce the name of the band because I've never actually seen it written anywhere, but apparently they were actually a real life band. I do remember hearing that, so that's something cool. So that was number 3, and number 4 kind of leads into that, which is that if you listen, you can hear the piece of music they're rehearsing, which is the exact same music as The Landler. Which brings us to number 5. It isn't strictly movie, and it's not really a detail in the way the others on this list are, but I have to include it because it does have to do with that piece of music. And that is that the music for The Landler is the same tune as The Lonely Goatherd, just at a slower tempo. Yeah, go back and listen to it again. And sticking with background music, I want to talk about what's playing in the background right before Maria leaves the party. Now, if you saw my video last week, you'll know that Max and Elsa's songs had to go. Sorry musical fans, they did. No Way to Stop It and How Can Love Survive would just not work in the movie's format. But if you listen, you can hear How Can Love Survive in the movie. After Elsa's scared off Maria and she goes back into the ballroom, if you listen, you can tell that the music is actually How Can Love Survive. Like The Lonely Goatherd being the Landler music, it is played at a slower speed, but if you know the tune and you listen, you can definitely tell what it is. It was the right decision to axe those two songs, but part of me wishes they could have stayed just because of how much I love them. But it's nice to hear that little bit of How Can Love Survive in there. And number 7, which many of you may already know this, is the real Maria von Trapp's cameo. Blink and you'll miss it, but during I Have Confidence, you can see Maria and her daughter and granddaughter walk along in the background. Obviously cameos like this aren't even really all that rare in movies, but it's still really cool. Plus the behind the scenes stories about that can be really amusing. She went up to Christopher Plummer and told him he was so much more handsome than her husband, and we all agree with her, right? So that's just a really quick list of some of my favourite little details in the movie. Let me know what is one of your favourite little details in the movie, or which is your favourite out of the ones I listed. I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe guys, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my video next time. So long, farewell!